That allows the quarterback to stay in the field.
So they swap out a receiver a play. So CK will swap them in. South gives it directly. The quarterback could play big in 2-minute drill situations.
Absolutely. So, Brent, I'm going to sniff out a little pass here. I think we're going to see a pass. Probably the first pass today out of Central. We'll see if I'm right.
And Riley, in 2.5 games of relief, has thrown for 335 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 2 picks. So,
you know, he's really done a nice job coming in for the injured Nick LaFontaine. I believe Nick is healthy today.
He is. Coach Gill told us that Pascal would get the start, but he's going to get Nick some reps and get him ready for the playoff season. And this is really good experience for Pascal for his senior year.
It really is, and he's really come in and stepped it up a notch playing here on the varsity level.
So again, Zawadzki, the only back. Pascal in the shotgun, 5 yards deep, dropping back. He's looking for a man. He's throwing it down the sideline. It's out of bounds, and his intended receiver, number 8, Parker, Tyler Parker.
I've noticed, and I don't know if it's the wet ball, but Riley has had some difficulty with the deep ball. I was watching him last game, and he was really throwing some high rainbow balls that look like punts. And he doesn't do that over the middle, and he does have a strong arm, but I have a feeling there's something with the grip.
Yeah, Coach Keel down here not impressed with that last pass. Look for him. If this continues, he'll swap quarterbacks. He's upset right now.
All right, thank you, Pat. Pat getting us the inside dope down there in that wet sideline. 2 backs with Pascal, 1 for blocking. Throwing it across the middle. It's going to be complete, but it's going to be well short of a first down to number 88, Taylor Sodi.
You know, that was a good play. Wasn't a great throw, but he went up and got it. It's going to give the young quarterback a little bit of confidence. They needed to complete something, and they weren't going to complete, I don't think, a first down. So.
And it was thrown on a rope. So back deep again, the 2 return men for South. The 2 running backs, and they let the ball go. Boy, this is going to be fortuitous for the Cougars. I think both men thought that the other would catch the ball, and your returners were Gascoigne and Broom for South.
Well, that turned out to be a very nice punt. Very nice punt. You know, I do want to point something out. CK is without their kicker, and they've been out for quite a while. Weston Sodi hurt his knee. He's been on crutches. He's out for the season. He was a very good field goal kicker, very good kickoff man, and I hope that doesn't come to be an issue in the playoffs here.
Extra points become critical. Kevin Watley brings his team out. He's got 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. I formation. And he's going to hand it off to the deep man, number 37, Bryce Broom, and he's going to pick up 4 yards on first down, make it 5.
South Kitsap really opened a nice hole right up the gut. He wasn't touched for 4 yards down the field, and you just can't have that. You just can't have that as defense, but if they can keep opening those holes, boy, South's going to be tough to stop.
Something I noticed there, Norm, Kevin Watley, the quarterback now, was having the play called into him from the sideline. So going to have to keep that away from the Cougars D. Broom, handoff to Gascoigne. He's stuffed at the line, and big number 5 for the Cougars. Austin Rogers standing him up and holding him to a gain of 1.
Well, what happened was there was some penetration. I can't see who that was, but one of the defensive linemen got back there about 2 yards, made him kind of hop and skip, which allowed that pursuit in the middle just to kind of close that hole. So that was a good play.
Okay, Watley ready to queue up this 3rd down and 3. Critical play here, deep in South Kitsap territory. Gascoigne and Broom in the backfield. And he fakes a handoff. He's looking to throw. He's got a man wide open. It's Broom. Broom with a lot of room down the sidelines, finally taken down by number 10, Andrew Schweiderman.
That was a good saving tackle down there. Boy, that was a well-designed play. South Kitsap really executed that one well and fooled CK. He was wide open.
Bryce Broom fakes the block, goes out into the flat, and nobody from Central was there. Chains are set. Clock is wound. 6:12 to go here in this scoreless first quarter. False start. Everybody but the quarterback started there, so that'll push him back 5 and make it 1st and 15 for the Wolves for Kevin Watley, the senior quarterback out of South Kitsap.
I'm wondering if the center had the count wrong, because there was about 3 or 4 guys that jumped.
If it did, all the linemen look at him for their mark because they all got up together.
Yes, they did.
Broom now in the front, hand off to Gascoigne. He's probing the center. Cougars are going to wrap him up and hold him to a gain of about 4.5 yards. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 11.
CK brought in number 67. Austin Miller, he's the biggest kid they got out there. He's a force. He's a force.
Is that a tell that they think that there's going to be some running in that interior, Norm?
I think it might be a pass rush situation.
Cougars running pretty much a 1 deep zone on defense and hand it off to number 25 Gascoigne down to the 47-yard line.
That's a nice run right up the gut. They had a 3-man line, took advantage of it. I think they were thinking pass. They were sitting back. And they popped the hole, and what was that, an 8-yard gain?
Long 4 to go here, a little over 4 yards to go. 3rd down and 4. And again, now the 2nd time tonight, we've seen the Wolves go to a 1-back set with Gascoigne, the only back in the backfield. Watley handing it off to him again on that right side, and again finding a lot of room. And a shoestring tackle by number 86.
That'll be Brian Andrews, 86.
Brian Andrews.
Brian just a sophomore, but he's a stud.
Pat, Coach Keel has got to be livid about the inability of the Cougars to control the edges.
Yeah, right now you see they keep subbing every single play, trying to get somebody in there to plug the hole.
So they want some fresh legs here this early. Watley under center again, I formation, 2 receivers to his left. He fakes the handoff, he's looking to throw. He's throwing it deep, and he's got a man with a step just off the fingertips of number 8, Thomas Simpson.
Wow. Kevin Watley, he put some nice touch on that ball. That was a very well thrown ball, very catchable. He was able to get both hands, fingertips on it. That could have gone either way, and had that been caught, that would have been a quick 6 for that would have been a 42-yard pass play.
And that was a well-thrown ball, and Simpson had beaten both the safety and his cover man. So
yes,
Simpson doing his job.
Yes, he did.
Broom and Gascoigne in the backfield. You got to think the handoff's coming to one, and it does to 24. 24. We got a sub in there, Lil Kalima.
Greg Cleveland was coming on a blitz and got one of his legs. Got one of his legs.
Kalima with the carry. Haven't seen him yet tonight, number 24, and it's going to be a 3rd down, and it's going to be a 3rd and long here, Norm. 3rd and nearly 8 yards. And between the 40 and 30 of your opponent's sideline, typically 4-down territory for a high school team.
Yep. They pulled their big man out. Coleman Hansen came out, and they put in smaller, faster
Watley
Josh Hoare.
Fakes the handoff, rolls to his right. Oh, the Cougar jumps, gives him a free one. Picked off. And the return, number 8 for the Cougars. And he has a lot of room. Tyler Parker down to the 43-yard line of the Cougars. Listen to the crowd.
You know, I've seen Tyler Parker do that a few times this year. He's an exciting player. Very, very good athlete, that young man.
Interesting call right before that play. The secondary coach was telling him to get him on his hip, keep him on his inside hip, and he did right there. Beautiful play by that defense.
Tyler Parker making a great defensive play there. The South Kitsap Wolves were on the move. You know, at 3rd and 8, I'm not sure about, throwing it deep like that. When you got the running game clicking, you're clearly in 4-down territory.
Well, they were doing so nice with those screens. And
handing it off to Zawadzki. Shakes 2, 3 tacklers. 4, 5 drags 3 men down to the 39-yard line.
Brett, he gained 4 yards, but how many yards do you think he ran on that play?
About
to get
27.
A lot of zigging and zagging, but you can see how strong Nick Zawadzki is. He shook probably 3 or 4 guys on that last play.
Zawadzki, I believe, had a concussion earlier in the season.
He did. He got hit very hard. He got slammed.
Zawadzki's been a workhorse for Coach Keel here for several years. Okay, the South Kitsap Wolves playing a 2-deep zone. False start on the Cougars, so all that bobbing and weaving Zawadzki did is for naught.
One thing with Zawadzki, while the defense has been on the field for the Cougars, all he's doing is pacing the sideline. He's got this look in his eye like he is ready to do something tonight. So really focused young man, I'll say that.
He's very focused. He is very intense when he's on that football field. There's no doubt. He's a good leader.
Zawadzki now joined in the backfield by Andrew Kane, number 24. And Kane's going to block for Zawadzki. He's going to try to power ahead, and he does. And he's met by number 9, Logan Knowles, who stands Zawadzki up and knocks him down.
Zawadzki's not very big, but he really does run with some power that surprises me for a guy who doesn't have a lot of weight in his shorts, so to speak.
3rd down, 8 yards to go for the Cougars. They are at the 42-yard line. Again, a scoreless game here. First quarter, Silverdale Stadium, a playoff home game on the line tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And now Pascal in the shotgun. He's looking to throw the ball. He's got a man, and that man is sniffed out. Number 34 caught the ball. That is Andrew Kane, and he was dropped in his tracks.
Boy, that was a 5-yard loss. That wasn't. That was very well read by that defensive player.
That was 21 who got him, and that was Svetkov.
Boy, yeah.
Svetkov, Ilya Svetkov. So the Cougars will punt from their 45-yard line. And it's a short kick down to the 30 and out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. And that's where South Kitsap will take over. So Norm, I was saying you were drafted in 82. You played in 83. That was your first year, right? Or
I was actually a free agent in 82.
Free agent
was
from,
not
out of UCLA.
And I did play in the 82 season, which was a strike season, which wasn't much fun.
A Redskin fan, so I enjoyed 1982. That was the Riggins 40-some yard touchdown run.
I was in an office today where there was a
picture
signed, very young John Riggins on the wall.
I'd love it, but he was a Jet back then. He wasn't a Redskin yet.
No, he was a Redskin, at least my picture.
Oh, okay. All right, so here we go. The Cougars with the ball lined up under center. And again, probing that right side, and Gascoigne is going to get another huge gain. Looks like about 16 yards.
You know, Greg Cleveland came up there to contain, and somebody, I couldn't catch the number on that, South Kitsap, took him out, and they were able to get to the outside again. Boy, the left side of that Cougar defense is being, it's really being taken advantage of by South Kitsap.
I'm going to have to, when we switch sides here in 40 seconds, I'm going to really watch, and we're going to see how this seal is happening.
Looks like number 8, the wide receiver, is getting a key block out there.
Watley takes the snap. He's going to throw the ball. He's got a man on the corner. And he misses intended receiver number 8. Simpson Thomas throws it a little high. Thomas Simpson, rather, a little bit high.
That's been 2 high balls he's been throwing, and those balls that I saw him throw high weren't that hard to throw. So maybe he's having a problem with his grip. Now he was throwing that deep ball pretty well, but these shorter ones, a lot of them I've seen kind of fly high.
That touch, right, for the short passes. Watley now with number 21 lined up, and that is Svetkov. Svetkov and Gascoigne. Svetkov blocking, and Gascoigne just knifing through the Cougar interior defense down to the 39-yard line.
Boy, Gascoigne's running a lot like Nick Zawadzki right up the middle.
Fearless.
Couple of cuts, shaking off some arm tackles, and that was just a 10-yard gain right up the gut.
South coming to the line quickly, catching the Cougars a little off guard, handing it off to number 23. A lot of running room, and those little legs are churning. The big Marshawn DeWalt with the carry.
Boy, it's number 61 for South, Damian Medeiros. He just buried that defensive end. Just pancaked him as he came in. That's how they were able to get that off the left-hand side.
But did you notice Marshawn DeWalt is a stocky little running back, sophomore. I could see we're going to see a lot of him over the next couple years, number 21.
I watched him come up through junior high.
And that's the end of the first quarter. Go ahead, Norm.
His nickname is Bowling Ball.
Yes.
He's low to the ground, very, very big legs. He just keeps those things churning, low center of gravity.
Go ahead, Pat.
Well, it's getting cold down here, guys. Wind is starting to pick up, and that's going to probably play a factor. My hands are freezing down here.
All right, well, we're going to take a brief time out here and change tape for the Sunday show, so go ahead to the cameraman and change tape. Second half action about to get underway here. Pat, did you have something else you wanted to throw out there?
Yeah, when you notice South Kitsap's quarterback come up to line, he does this silent count. He just claps his hands twice. That tells them ready, and then they go on the next play.
I noticed that they're all snapping when he's clapping. I did notice that. And so here we go. South Kitsap threatening here inside the 20-yard line. Hand off to Gascoigne, and he's going to push on the left side up to the 13-yard line. That's going to bring up a second down and 4 to go.
Sean Bearfield was coming up from a corner and blitzing, and he took an inside rush. They were he's not a very big guy. They pushed him inside, but they were able to get the outside.
You know, it's interesting. They run right. Switch sides of the field. Now they start running left. We got the best seats in the house, and they're running away from us. Walden under center. He does the clap Pat was talking about. Defensive line drops. Gascoigne gets tackled, but not before he picks up the first down. It's going to be a 1st and goal from the 7-yard line for the Wolves.
I'm pretty impressed with that Gascoigne. He's a hard runner. He runs straight ahead. He gets between those tackles, finds a little gap, and he just goes.
And if he gets tired, you can just hand it to Bryce Broom.
Defensive line for CK looks a little bit gassed. They've been on the field for a long time.
I formation for Walden. Sets the line. Gascoigne up the middle, going to push the pile to the 1.5 to the 2-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, CK is going to be in for a long night. If I'm SK, if I'm South, I'm doing that. They can't seem to stop. They're getting 4 yards of a pop right up the gut. And I'd say, if I was South, I'd say you stop me first before I go away from that.
I got to agree with you, Norm. If it works, keep doing it. And this will be a touchdown as Gascoigne forces his way over the goal line. And the Wolves take the early lead, 6-0, extra point pending.
He did a nice job, Gascoigne did. He bounced off. He was going off tackle and bounced it outside to find the opening in the crack just to get just over the line for a touchdown.
And I'm looking down at my daughter, the lovely Brianna Woolard, cheerleading tonight for the Central Kitsap Cougars. You have a son suited up for the Cougars tonight.
I do. He's right there.
But we are not homers.
No, we're not.
We're in it
I'm going for 2.
A good game. Going to hand off to who? Gascoigne, and he is going to force his way ahead for the 2 points. So 8-0 here early in the second quarter. The South Kitsap Wolves, led by first-year head coach Eric Canton.
Well, that defense for Central is really going to have to regroup. They've got to figure out how to stop that run. I think SK has established that now, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that next time they have the ball, and they're going to force Central to stop them. I mean, why not?
I was looking down on the sidelines. Coach Mark Kill, head coach for the Central Kitsap Cougars shaking his head. He's not liking how this game is progressing so far.
No.
Pat,
basically what's going on down here is the Wolves are just physically outmatching them at the line badly, as you guys can see up there, and that's what Coach Keel's a little upset about, trying to get his guys fired up.
Yeah, then as they move up to stop that run, that sets up that play action, which I'm sure we're going to see real soon.
Back deep for the Cougars to receive is Andrew Schwederman, number 10, and number 27.
Greg Cleveland.
Greg Cleveland.
Two very good return men.
Kicking for South Kitsap will be R.J. Poland.
Andrew Schwederman are deep to receive for the Cougars. And kicking away for South Kitsap.
Schwederman.
Left-footed kicker.
Cleveland back deep. Kicking from the 40-yard line. That's a deep kick, and it's going to Schwederman. He takes it at the 12. Gets behind his blockers to the 20, to the 25, and he'll be stood up at the 29-yard line.
Brent, we got a flag down. You know, usually in that spot, that's some kind of a hold, pushing the back.
Right. It's going to be 10 yards against the Cougs, probably from about, usually they try to hit the yard marker with the flag.
They do. The 27, probably back them up 10 to somewhere around the 17.
Yep, that's what I'm guessing as Riley Pascal brings his squad out to the field. Personal foul, face mask. So it's going to be half the distance to the goal. That'll get him to the 13 and a half.
I wonder how you get a face mask when you're the return team.
By grabbing a face mask and pulling down on it.
While you're blocking? Wow. You don't see that very often.
I lost our sideline guy here. Where'd Pat go off, guys?
Hey, I'm trying out the other side, see if we got reception over here.
Oh, we do. I thought maybe you'd have had the eagle-eye view on
He's
that.
off warming his hands up somewhere.
Pascal, single back behind him, the big number 28, Nick Zawadzki. Pascal in the shallow shotgun, hands it off to Zawadzki, running on this near side, hurdling over potential tacklers, down to the 34-yard line, an amazing run to the 35 by Zawadzki.
That's one thing I've seen all year from Nick. He has incredible balance. I've seen him spin. I've seen where most backs would go down. He stays up, has just a center gravity and balance that I haven't seen in a lot of players this level.
A balance, spinning, and getting hit at the same time.
That was nice. That was nice play.
Two receivers to the far side for Pascal. The junior takes the snap, hands it off to Zawadzki up the middle, and he will be dropped immediately by number 65, Tyler Ludlow, the junior.
That hole doesn't open very long for South. They seem to close that real fast.
Well, South has a size advantage. You know, South Kitsap's the largest school in the state of Washington. So they get
it's hard
draw.
to push around those guys.
They get the corn-fed boys out of that South Kitsap region.
Second down for the Cougars.
Pascal and Zawadzki. Cleveland and another receiver to the right. He's looking to throw the ball under some heavy pressure, and down he goes. Flag flies.
Oh.
Sack goes to number 79, Forrest Bingham. Cleveland.
And we got a hold on top of that.
Cleveland and Schwederman were the two receivers to the right side, and now the South Kitsap Wolves are saying no, we'll take the sack, as they should, because that sets up a 3rd and 15.
Holding against the Cougars is denied.
You know, with those big boys inside, then all those yards that go in between the tackles for the running game are going to be, well, tough earned yards is what you're saying, Brent, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, you got the guy in Zawadzki that can do it, as we saw on first down. Pascal. Cleveland on that right side. Pascal throwing a wounded duck and caught at the 48-yard line for the first down. A wounded duck.
Schwederman made a nice play. I saw that last game. That's what Riley Pascal's been having a hard time with, those long balls. That's what they look like. They wobble, they're duck, they hang up in the air. It seems like forever. But Central Kitsap's made some nice plays on those balls.
Schwederman comes out for a play. In goes Tyler Parker. Parker will be the receiver here on the left with Cleveland. They're going to stack that left side. They got that.
Those are two good receivers.
They got that two back. They hand it off. Zawadzki feeling his way through, breaking tackles all over and down to the 30. He powers through several South Kitsap Wolves on his way to the 30-yard line.
You know, we were talking about how hard it is to open holes there, and in between the tackles, they did that right there. He got, and when you give Nick a little bit of opening and get him in by those linebackers, he's pretty tough. You got to bring him down with something more than arm tackles.
Yeah, his legs just keep churning down here on the sideline. He's going beast mode today.
And thank you to Pat Duncan. Again, you know, they put that fullback in, Norm, and Pascal always in the shotgun tonight, so they're getting that extra blocker. And there he goes again on the outside, down to the 23-yard line.
Fullback did make a very nice block to open that and spring Nick for, what is that, about 7 yards.
It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 3 to go. Yeah, 7 yards on 1st down. And I think Coach found something here in adding that extra running back in the backfield to give Nick an extra blocker. And now
that was Andrew Kane, but they took Andrew out.
They go in the straight I formation with Terrell Anderson up front in the fullback position, and then it looks like a timeout Cougars. Coach Keel is going to talk to him about it. Coach not happy. I'm guessing that the new player coming in, Terrell Anderson, maybe did not go to the right position. Coach talking to him about it. And again, Coach Keel played for the 85 Pats. He was also he was drafted by the in the USFL and the NFL. Opted for the USFL when they folded, came over to the NFL and ended up being on the 85 Pats team. But he was on injured reserve. So you guys, did you? I don't know. Probably can't remember if you played him back then, but.
I can't remember those. That was my first 3 years.
Yeah, he was a safety for I believe back then, the Boston Patriots. Before they became New England.
No, they were New England for my whole career.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah.
They were Boston in the early years. You got me by a couple, so.
You might have been right, because now they got Terrell offset in the backfield, where he wasn't an I. I don't know if it's the same play, but could have been.
And Pascal looks to be going to go under center, and he is. So 2nd down, 3 yards to go. Fake. And now Anderson takes the handoff and forces his way, slides up to the 18-yard line, and he will pick up the 1st down. Terrell Anderson with a nifty bit of running there.
Boy, I like that play. I think everybody thought that Nick was going to get the ball. I saw the whole defense shift. They came back on a counter to Terrell up the middle. That was a nicely designed play.
And it's also a good play for Coach. Even though he was jumping on Terrell a little bit, who'd they go to?
Back to Terrell. Good for him.
He proved himself.
Good for him.
Pascal.
Now Terrell off the other side.
Again, back in the shotgun. Zawadzki lined up 3 yards behind him. Man in motion, handed off to Zawadzki. It's going to be felt by Broom, and he was assisted by number 24, Lil Kalima, after a gain of about 2.
You know, Nick, he's got some speed, and he likes to bounce it outside. There were just too many folks outside there for
Yeah,
him
I was going to say, Nick took a right turn. He looked, and he saw 3 Wolves and no Cougars.
Yeah, that was kind of a problem.
But, hey, he got 2 yards out of it. 2nd down, 8 yards to go from the 17-yard line for the Cougars. Trail by 8 here, 6:54 to go, 2nd quarter. Again, handoff to Zawadzki. Got a little bit of room and forcing his way up to the 11-yard line. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 3.
Just like on that previous play, I was going to comment, Nick seems to always get positive yards, even when it doesn't seem like there's much there. And there, obviously, there was a hole, but even once he got hit and stood up, I think he went for another 2 or 3 yards. He's always leaning forward, running downhill.
In comes Cleveland, number 27 with the play.
This is a very big play.
Probably 2-down territory here. I'm not sure Coach would kick a field goal. But the 11-yard line, they need the 8 for the 1st down. Shotgun. Zawadzki going to take the pitch. He's going to probe the left side. He's going in for the touchdown. Now will the Cougars go for 2 to tie it up.
Well, full.
Boy, the Cougars did a nice job on that left side. He went in pretty much untouched. We could see that from about the 15-yard line that he was going to score. That was very good. Now, you made a comment. We're going to Pat?
No, go ahead, Norm. Go ahead.
Well, you were talking about possibly going for a field goal. That was going to be where where Weston Sodi was not here, was going to be kind of a problem.
Kick is up and good, 8-7. The Cougars trail the Wolves by 1 here at Silverdale Stadium midway through the third quarter.
Now that was Hudson Kiefer, and he's actually done a really nice job to pick up after Weston Sodi was a very good kicker. When Kiefer came in, he wasn't doing very well, but the last couple games have been excellent.
Pat, go ahead.
I don't know if you saw that last play, but number 34, the fullback, had the key block there to the outside, which allowed Zawadzki to cut back in. And like you said, Norm, untouched, not one hand on him. Just how you draw it up, right?
Absolutely. Andrew Kane was the fullback, Pat.
Andrew Kane's a tough player. That's very hard to be untouched, with inside that red zone.
Back deep for South Kitsap, number 25, Adam Gascoigne, and number 37, Bryce Broom. Two of the workhorses for the South Kitsap Wolves in 2012, and kicking off will be Hudson Kiefer.
And so this is what we're going to say again. This is the second team kicker, and he doesn't kick it quite as deep as Sodi, and sometimes that comes into play.
Again, tonight's game brought to you by the Kitsap Sun and Peninsula Auto Group as we get set to kick off here. Cougars trailing 7-8 to the South Kitsap Wolves. Kiefer kicks it off. It's a deep kick down inside the 5-yard line and taken by Gascoigne. He's going to try to get to the outside. A nice block. I didn't see a flag yet. Forcing the issue up to the 30, to the 34-yard line, and a flag is down.
They got him.
That block was one of those that was right on the edge of being a block in the back.
Yeah, clear block in the back down here about the 16, 17-yard line. So
yeah, those
big run negated.
Those are hard to not get called when they're right at the point of attack, and that was the block that sprung him. So from my angle, that was definitely a block in the back numbers.
And I don't know if you guys have noticed up there, but the wind is really picking up down here, probably a good 10 mile an hour into...
While we got a minute here, why don't I get the cameraman to swing the camera over to the flag above the scoreboard, and we'll see that wind, Pat. Good call.
Yep. That's coming right into the face of this South Kitsap offense.
Yeah, you notice when we started the game, I said didn't seem like it was going to be a factor, but it definitely has picked up.
And thank you to Spencer Anderson running the camera for us tonight and streaming.
As they're looking at it from home, it's coming from right to left. The wind.
Number 24 in Kalima in the halfback position here for the Wolves, and he'll take the handoff into a pile, and he'll bring it down to, they're going to mark it at the 9-yard line.
He scored for about 3 yards.
Excuse me.
This would be great for the CK Cougars here to hold them and get a punt, keep them down their end zone. And I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of runs like we have been. See if this CK defense has figured out a way to stop them up the middle.
Gascoigne back in the halfback position. Broom, fullback, drops back to pass, rolling to his right, almost picked off. Ball catchable to Gascoigne, but a little high. It's going to bring up a 3rd and long.
All those rollout passes like that have been wide open. They haven't had any CK players in their face, or in the quarterback's face, to challenge him on those, and that's kind of tough. We might see him running on one of those next time.
Kevin Watley, though, as a right-hander rolling to your right, that makes it difficult, right? Because then you have to throw across your body.
No, rolling right, that's what you want with a right-hander.
Oh, okay. Watley with a single back. Gascoigne, he's going to take the pitch, going to try to get outside, and it looks like the Cougars got it sniffed out, and he's going to lose about 5 yards. That's going to bring up 4th down punting situation for sure from the 6-yard line. So the Cougars finally get a defensive stop here.
They had 3 wideouts on the right side of the south line. That's where they ran, and almost all of those wide receivers missed their block.
Yep. Well, the seal didn't work that time.
No, it did not.
Schwieterman on the Wolves 40 for the return. Punting for South will be number 15. This will be the second punt of the night for Cooper Canton.
Okay, this will be interesting because Schwieterman's a good return man. If they give him some space here, it could be trouble for South squad.
Canton with a low liner, picked up by Schwieterman, all to the 30, and dropped immediately by number 37, Broom, the leading tackler for the South Kitsap Wolves.
Now,
Schwieterman didn't like that because it was at the knees and kind of pushed him backwards.
I know. Well, Schwieterman, he's taken some risks in the past, and I think that was a risk to grab that ball. But he held on. You know, we haven't seen the ball on the ground, but I think once today, and it was recovered by the same player that had dropped it.
The opening kickoff by the Wolves. Pat, we'll get to you after this play. New quarterback in LaFontaine, injured in week 6. Pitches out to Zawadzki. Zawadzki shedding tacklers down to the 24, but a flag is down.
Uh-oh.
Might have, and the flag's thrown by one of the line judges, so I think it's either a procedure or an offsides. But let's throw it down to Pat while we sort this out.
I was just going to notice that, see if you guys have seen the way CK's lines the last 5 minutes, both offense and defense, have been really putting their will to these Wolves. It's definitely changed down here in the field.
Momentum changing, says Pat, down on the sidelines. Thank you, Pat Duncan. And that was an illegal procedure call against the Cougars. That'll back them up 5.
Just one thing I noticed, you know, even though it was called back, but Nick takes that pitch, he gets an arm tackle in the back. That doesn't even phase him. Hardly slows him down. He just shakes off those arm tackles and runs upfield.
Cody LaFontaine, number 14, your new quarterback under center. Again, pitch to Zawadzki, probing the left side, running to the outside and pushed out at the 31-yard line. So he'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, actually a yard short of that 32-yard line.
Yeah, they're running and pitching to the short side of the field, not giving Nick much room out there. He still picked up 5, but...
Okay, that opens up that right side. We'll see how they stack the offense.
I think they're going to want to see him out in space a little bit more.
Cody LaFontaine also pretty good passer on the year, 666 yards, 6 touchdowns. I'm not kidding with these numbers. 6 interceptions as well. In the shotgun, LaFontaine takes a high snap. He's got a man, caught, Schwieterman for the first down past the 20.
Boy, that's a big play for this Cougar squad. Nice catch, nice throw.
And that was caught in stride by Schwieterman. Great throw by LaFontaine.
LaFontaine looked pretty sharp on that play.
3:43 to go.
He's been out, I think, 3 games. If I'm not mistaken, I think
he was injured in the 6th game, so at some point in the game he came out. They played 2 more full games after that, so it's been 2+ games. And Coach again saying earlier that LaFontaine would get some snaps, but number 4, Riley Pascal, was the starter, as we saw for a quarter and a half. LaFontaine hands it off to Zawadzki. Zawadzki looking on the left side, and he'll bring it down to the 12-yard line. And the clock ticks, 3:16 to go here in the second quarter. And the Cougars again trailing the Wolves by 1, 7-8.
You know, it didn't seem like there was much room there, but when you look at the sticks, he picked up 8 yards on that run.
Absolutely. Patient running by Zawadzki tonight, Norm. He gets the ball, especially if it's one where he's moving left or right, picks his hole, and he takes his time. He lets the blocks develop. Timeout. LaFontaine calls the second timeout for the Cougars.
Timeout, Cougars.
So the Cougars down to 1 timeout. South down to 2.
Hey, down here, Brent, on the sidelines, that last play, South Kitsap's defense, the coach is calling in the plays to the defensive linemen, and they've got the plays on their wrist, kind of like a quarterback, as far as what kind of blitz they're coming with. So I've never seen that before, where all the linemen have got the wrist plays.
Hey, Pat, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you think that can you tell any difference with Cody going in there at quarterback? Getting any excitement there from people? Maybe they came in and they're thinking that he's kind of a spark for the offense here?
Yeah, you can definitely tell they're walking with a little more swagger down here on the sidelines than they were earlier, but for the most part, they're rallying around Zawadzki and his power runs.
All right, thank you, Pat. Cougars take over, rather set the ball at the 13-yard line. LaFontaine puts a man in motion, hands it off to Zawadzki, left side off tackle, down to the 9-yard line. Is going to bring up a third down. It's going to be a first down. So it's going to be first and goal from the 9. Clock will start running here after the ball is set for play at 2:44.
Brian Andrews came in across the formation and then stalled. He's a big tight end. Stalled right at the hole, and he fired forward as the lead blocker. And the blocker did a pretty nice job, but Zawadzki followed right behind him for a first down.
An interesting thing here. Zawadzki takes the ball up the middle, and he'll push it ahead for about 2 yards to the 7. Norman high school football, there's no play clock that the quarterbacks can see.
Right.
So the way they work it is the back judge keeps the clock in his hand, and when it's within 5 seconds, he raises a hand. The back judge is the guy directly behind the defense, and LaFontaine should be looking at him here as we get ready inside 2 minutes of the second half, and he should be milking that clock. He should not be snapping the ball until that referee raises his hand, because obviously you don't want to give South any time here in this situation.
There we go.
And Zawadzki is going to be pushed across the goal line by number 21, and that is Svetkov.
What a great hole on the left side of that line. Again, when he hit that line of scrimmage, he had 3 yards on either side to run. And if you give Nick Zawadzki that kind of room, he's going to go for quite a few yards, and obviously he smelled the goal line there.
Zawadzki trotting up the sideline here for the Cougs. Now South gets the ball with 1:42. We'll see what their 2-minute drill looks like. And the kick about ready to come here from Keffer Hudson. Ball down, straight kick, 14-8. The CK Cougars lead the South Kitsap Wolves.
Hudson's doing a nice job kicking. And I wonder if it's the pink socks he's wearing tonight that's really...
I said Keffer Hudson, it's Hudson Keffer. I apologize, folks.
You know, it's pink night here for the CK Cougars. And boy, Nick's got some nice pink socks.
And the cheerleaders doing the push-ups here for the score. Spencer, can you lean the camera down to the bottom there?
You know, I get a big charge out of that. I've been watching these cheerleaders, and that's been a tradition. Every time they score, they do push-ups, but they don't just do push-ups for that last score, the 7 points or whatever. They start from 0 and count up.
It's the cumulative.
It's cumulative, and I've watched CK run up some scores pretty good in the 40s, you know, but let's say it's 31 to whatever, so they do 31 push-ups. They're probably not liking it when they kick field goals, because now they got to do 34 push-ups on top of that.
Exactly. Back deep for South, the 2 running backs, Gascoigne and Boone. Number 37, Bryce Broom.
You know, Hudson had a really good kickoff last time. Let's see if he can do that again. It was very deep.
Adam Gascoigne, number 25. Bryce Broom, number 37, back deep for South Kitsap. Hudson kicks down a deep one to the 5-yard line and taken by Broom. Slips one tackler to the 20-yard line to the 25, and there he's met and dropped at the 28 by number 85 of the Cougars.
Sean Bearfield was shaken up. I actually saw him. He hit a guy kind of on the wedge. And I was afraid he might have been knocked out. He's a very, very tough young man. Not very big, but he has a huge heart. Hit a guy very hard, and he got shook up.
Colin Anthony with the tackle for the Cougs. Number 22, the Cougs there, that was Sean Barfield, like you said. Little guy, Bearfield.
Yep.
Getting hit, trotting off the field. So here we go. Kevin Watley, quarterback. Two backs in the I formation. Gascoigne, the halfback, fake to the halfback, rolling out, and he's going to throw it out of bounds, and that's where right-handers run into his left.
Yeah, that's very tough for him. He's got to slow down, which allows that pursuit to catch up to him. And that was a difficult throw. Difficult throw for Watley.
Minute 27 to go. 14-8, Cougar lead over South. And it's second down and 10 yards to go. And I'm not sure that I abandoned the running game at this point. 2 timeouts remain for the South Kitsap Wolves. Watley under center. Sets the offense. Hands it off to Gascoigne. And he'll be caught and brought down after a short gain by number 67 of the Cougars, Austin Miller.
Big Austin Miller.
Clock running at a minute 10.
CK's putting 4 men up there at the line of scrimmage. I think they are sniffing out that it's going to be some runs, but they're stopping them too right now. I think we're going to see something going downfield this time.
Boy, South is really losing time here. Clock now under a minute, 55 seconds. Watley trots in with the play, and I'm watching the back judge Fred Perkins to see when he raises that right hand because they're close to that 5-second mark. Watley again in the I formation. There the hand goes up.
He was giving the hurry up signal.
Gascoigne takes it to the outside, trying to get to the first down marker, and he will. He'll be forced ahead, pushed ahead in the tackle by number 34, Andrew Kane.
Fortunate bounce there for South Kitsap. That ball was stripped away by number 8 for the Cougars. It was a fumble, went out of bounds.
That was
missed
Tyler
the
Parker.
fumble, and it's going to be a first down. So that'll stop the clock and fumbled out of bounds.
I missed the fumble also.
I've gone to the other sideline here. It's just right in front of me.
Kind of a misty night here as you look up at the lights, but not really a downpour, but no shortage of moisture in the air, and the wind continues to blow to the north.
And anybody playing
To
out
our
there
left.
is wet.
Hand off to Gascoigne, and he'll push the pile ahead to the 44-yard line.
I know that anybody out there playing is wet, so that breeze gets pretty cold. That
Oh, yeah.
that turf is wet. You get down on the ground and it's like a sponge, and you absorb that moisture.
Clock now 10 seconds. About time for one play for South Kitsap. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, and they'll hand off to Gascoigne. And that will end the first half.
That's kind of an interesting call with 7 seconds
Well, they
left.
had 2 minutes and they never really pushed the ball up the field. So 14-8, the Cougars enjoy the 6-point lead here as we go into the locker room, and I believe the Cougars will receive the ball in the second half, Norm.
I think that's right.
So, Pat Duncan, that first half, your thoughts?
Well, I'm following South Kitsap off the field right now. And there's a big controversy here between the quarterback and the coach. Coach says we're going to the locker room without throwing the ball at the end, like you guys were saying. The quarterback wants to throw it, but the wind is just howling down here. Coach says, I'm not going to let you throw it into the wind and make a bad play. So tensions are mounting down here on the Wolves sideline.
Well, you know what seemed like was going to maybe be a lopsided game, Norm. The Wolves early had their way with the Cougar defense. Were moving the ball well. Got the first touchdown. And then all of a sudden the Cougars get a spark, get a couple of touchdowns.
They did, and boy, that battle of the line of scrimmage, it looks like CK has stepped it up and hadn't made it so easy for the for a while there. SK was just marching inside between the tackles, and then Central started to change something. I can't figure out exactly what they changed, but they've made it a lot harder for South to get up at the middle. And CK's starting to get that running game going. They're doing a pretty good job with that.
They answered the call for sure there after they got going. Okay, again, I'm Brent Wooler, joined by Norm Johnson and Pat Duncan in the booth, and we'd also like to thank Doc Parr, our engineer tonight, Kitty Campagna, the producer for the show, and Spencer Anderson on camera. This is West Sound TV presents High School Football Game of the Week, live on KitsapSun.com, and made possible by Peninsula Auto Group. We're going to leave the camera running for you live, folks, so you can watch the halftime show. For the rest of you, it won't take just a second, and we'll be back with that second half.